Hello, good morning, everyone, and welcome everybody at today's podcast. Last time I had in my studio Monika, uh, the flight attendant, and we've been talking about her path, her journey, how she actually got to this job, and the beginnings, when she started this job. Um, Monika, welcome today.
Hello.
Hello. So it's nice to have you here again. And if I just try to remember last recording, well, we've been talking about you started your career as a flight attendant and you liked it and if I can ask you, for how many years you actually were doing this job?
It was a long 12 years.
Long 12 years. Okay. Um, your let's say flights or destinations were very much variable, or for some long period of time it was still the same? How it was varying, and where were you actually flying to?
Oh, it was varied. Yes, we flew from the east to the west. We went to Mexico one week and the Maldives the next. And then in between there were shorter flights like Spain or Turkey, Egypt,
Mm,
etc.
mm.
So yeah, all over.
Yeah. Which flights you preferred? Like you like more the long distance or short distance flights?
Oh, definitely long haul, because you go away and then you work one day and then you stay there for a week on the
Mm, mm.
beach in the bar, and then you fly back. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
kind of get paid for a week and you only work for 2 days.
Okay, okay. It sounds great, but Monica, when I'm reading some articles, about like Czech women working for instance, Emirate Airlines, they always complain about how exhausting job it is. And they say you fly there, you get off, you go to the hotel, you sleep, you're tired, there's jet lag and other things, and you have only like, I don't know, a couple of hours. You can go out in the evening, but you will be definitely tired next day. And then basically in a couple of hours, they're flying back. How come that in your case, you had so many days at the destination place, like for you?
You have to pick your airline well, and I was lucky. My airline was a charter holiday airline.
Mm,
So
mm,
that's as opposite to a scheduled airline, which Emirates, for example, are. So they have a different operation. They fly to the same destination every day, while a charter can go there once a week. That's why we stay for a week. And these guys can stay the minimum rest time, which can be 12 hours.
mm, mm,
Sometimes it happened to us too. For example, we flew to, say, Mexico quite often. So we had less time there, and yes, it can be tiring when it's like that. But yeah, with my airline, pardon me, I was quite lucky. Yeah, we
mm,
had a
mm.
week there or 5 days there, etc.
Yeah, then I must say you've been really lucky. Yeah. Okay. You mentioned Mexico. I mean, I would say last lot of years it's been considered as a dangerous country. I mean, a lot of kidnappings and the cartels, drug cartels. I mean, British tourists were okay. There were some safe resorts for the tourists, or how was it?
Yeah, I never felt unsafe there. But generally, the tourist resorts are kept safe. The same happened in Kenya a few years ago when there were some riots, or in Egypt. The tourist
Mm,
resorts
mm,
are safe because they bring the country money. So if something happened in these resorts, nobody would go there, and they would lose a lot of money from that. So they make sure that these places are kept safe, or as
mm,
safe as possible. So I never felt unsafe, to be honest.
mm. That sounds good. Mm, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Luckily, right. Um, if you should say what's the most unattractive or difficult about the job of flight attendants, what would it be?
Well, for me personally, it's early mornings because sometimes we go to work at 3 in the morning, sometimes at 10 p.m. at night.
Mm, mm,
So I'm a night owl, so for me, early mornings were not desirable,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
sometimes they had to be done. But generally, I think the most difficult part is the jet lag and the time zones. So, one day you are plus 7 hours, and in 3 days you're minus 9 hours, and that messes the body clock up.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. Did you have any like magic trick? Is there among the female part of the crew some recommendation, some secret hack how to, some herbal tea, or I don't know, how to help yourself, how to prevent this?
Yeah, there are like different theories, but everybody has something that works for them. For example, when we fly east from, say, the UK to Vietnam, then you land there uh, in the morning their time, but for you it's already like, oh, I don't really. It's already kind of, yeah, I
It's
can't
evening
figure it
hours, I
out
would
which
say.
way
Yeah.
around it is. Basically, it's the wrongest time to go to bed.
Yeah,
And some
wrongest
people
ever.
say,
Yeah.
oh, it's good to stay up and then go to bed early. But I don't like staying up when I've already been up all night. So I just usually slept when I felt like it, whatever time of the day it was. So I don't have a very good like way of dealing with jet lag. But yeah, there are different theories.
Yeah, yeah, I understand. Uh, your worst passenger, somebody like who was really a troublemaker or drunk or not behaving polite.
Oh, the worst passenger. Well, the worst passenger generally is the one that can never be happy. Whatever you do for them, they will always complain. But
Yeah, yeah,
that's the
constant
same in
complainers.
life. I just, yeah, I don't like people that constantly complain. So that's the worst passenger. But trying to think if we did have, for example, flying to Ibiza and back from Ibiza, which is a party place for young people. So
Yeah,
they
yeah.
basically go there, drink, and take drugs for a week, and then they come
Ooh,
back.
oh my God.
So yeah, we had some people, some people that were drinking their own alcohol on board, which is very dangerous because
Mm,
we don't have control of how much they drink, and of course, alcohol has different effect on different people, and some become aggressive. So yeah, we had to kind of like tell them off, and then if they didn't listen to us, then the captain had to step in,
mm,
and if they
mm.
still didn't listen, we had to call the police to meet them after landing, which happened a couple of times.
Oh, oh.
So I guess these were the worst in a way,
I
but
can
it's
imagine.
all
Yeah.
like I mentioned. Sorry, like I mentioned last time, we are trained to deal with these situations. So
Mm.
so yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it was
Okay,
manageable.
okay. You're the most famous passenger, a politician, an actor, or an actress.
Ooh, yeah. Occasionally we had some British like actors or sports people. I can't think
Ball
of
players,
who was the
maybe.
most.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really can't think of a name now. Ask me next time. I'll
Yeah,
think
yeah,
about it.
okay. It's like I've been once teaching English, one Czech famous football player. I didn't know him, and I was teaching his wife, and my colleague was teaching him, and she started lesson like, "Oh, okay. So, what's your hobbies? Do you do any sport?" And he was a famous Czech football player. So, times. Um,
That's funny.
yeah, yeah, okay. I've read that it happens that the crew is in a certain, let's say, composition. They are somehow mixed, and the trip happens, and it is said that it will never be repeated in the same personal representation again. Because it would be a huge coincidence. Is it true? Like, for example, yeah, so you fly somewhere and you know Joseph and Jeff and Jane, and next time you have completely different colleagues.
Yeah, that is true. Every time the crew is different. It's extremely unlikely for the same crew to happen again because there's
Oh,
a couple thousand people employed by the airline, or at least
yeah.
the one I worked for. So yeah, every time they put whatever crew fits in.
Must be
Uh,
extremely difficult or frustrating, like you get used to somebody, you like some cooperation with somebody, and then you'll never probably work with this person at least next year, not at all, and then will be completely new people allocated to you. So yeah, it requires some inner resilience or some strength.
Yeah, well, yes, it's good and bad, because if you work with the same people all over, like people in an office, it can get a bit claustrophobic sometimes,
Yeah,
or
submarine
yeah.
sickness. Hmm.
So yeah, so on the other hand, you can look forward to flying with that person again when you see them on your roster, and you see, oh my God, I'll be flying with Jenny again. Wonderful.
Ah.
And you also meet new people every day, and that's nice too. So you can never get bored. I quite
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the
Yeah, it can work also, like, yeah, some kind of catalyst. It can be really, really exciting to know that it's changeable, new people, new faces, and new stories and destinies. Yeah. Radiation. I've heard it, like your airline watch the amount of radiation you get, and if you want more long distance flights, they tell you no next month because this month you've received enough of radiation. How does that work? How dangerous is the radiation which you absorb in skies?
well, yeah, that it is a factor. However, in my airline, like I said, we didn't fly every single day because we
Yeah,
had
yeah.
long layovers. So I never exceeded my limit ever. But yes, it is a factor. I think it's going to be spoken about more in time, that it's quite a new thing. So there isn't much research done yet into the effects. But yeah, there is, statistically, there are many people working shifts, and that's not only cabin crew, but it's also nurses, for example, that do have kind of a higher, percentage of getting terminal diseases, etc. I don't
Hmm,
want to be too morbid, but yeah, so I think it's more to do with the shift pattern and the, night shifts, etc.,
hmm,
rather than the radiation, but we don't know exactly yet.
But I think the airline industry has been here for, I don't know, 55, 60 years, and they would have some outcomes already. If that would be anything like really dangerous, they would take the appropriate measurements and act accordingly. And yeah, so I believe it's all right,
To be
basically.
honest, I think it's a little bit like with smoking. We've known for 60 years that smoking is
Yes,
bad,
yeah.
but only in the 80s they started talking about it more,
Mm,
because it's all about money, right? And cigarettes were bringing huge amounts of money to the governments in taxes. So
mm,
of course they didn't want to ban it, although they knew it was bad. So it's the same with the radiation. Yes, it is a factor. It's not really like looked into properly yet, or maybe it is, but it's a slow process. So we will see in years or decades what
yeah,
the
yeah,
outcome
yeah,
is.
yeah. Okay. Do you have any message for all the people who believe in chemtrails? To which department would you send them, or what would you recommend them to
Yeah,
do?
what I would tell them is, and I saw it actually not long ago on some YouTube video or Instagram or something. It was a message for all these chemtrails believers: go out on a cold night, take a kettle with boiling water in it,
Yeah.
and just chuck it into the, like, pour the water out into the air. And you will see exactly the same effect that you see behind the airplane in the air. It's basically condensation, because the engines produce
Condensation.
hot air,
Yeah.
there's moisture, and that is what it is. So you don't have to
Vaporization.
be
Yeah.
worried.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, just do this little experiment, and I think you'll believe in something
Great
else.
example with the kettle and hot water. Really. Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Maybe I recommend many listeners might even try it. So yeah. Yeah. Why not? Great. Great. Okay. Okay. Monica, last question. Your youngest pilot, like, okay, I'm not speaking like you came there and you came to work and there was a 16 years old boy or child, but yeah, technically, statistically, it can happen that there could be a qualified pilot with all licenses in quite fairly early age. So
in our airline, we had a little bit older pilots, like in their at least mid-20s, I would say. But in airlines such as Ryanair or EasyJet, where they take
Yeah.
cadets straight from flight schools, you can have a 20-year-old pilot perfectly trained. You
20
can have
years
a
old.
20,
Oh my God.
yeah,
My son will be
I
20 in
think.
4 years. So, whoa, I can't imagine.
There you go, he can be a pilot. Yeah, so yeah,
Okay.
don't be scared when you see a very young face. And also some of these boys, when they're 20, they look
I've
15.
seen when
So
we flew to Greece, and I was like, oh no, this kid is going to fly us. I mean, no. And I started praying, whoa, oh, okay.
no, that they can be even better than some 60-year-old pilots because they're, fresh and everything
Yeah,
that
yeah,
they've
prompt.
learned is still in their heads. So
Yeah, they know, like in this TV series, investigation of the airline catastrophe. They in an emergency, they are looking for some book, and they start opening those pages in the book and trying to find the procedure. Like okay,
that's
so
That's actually, there's nothing wrong with that because these are checklists, and they are the either abnormal procedure checklist
mm,
or
mm,
emergency procedure checklist.
okay,
And you have to take the book out and follow it so you don't
yeah,
forget
skip
something.
or something. Yeah,
So
yeah,
exactly. So it's a procedure. You can know it all. You still have to take the book out and check with the
mm,
other pilot that you've done all the steps. So
yeah.
don't worry when you see the book.
Yeah, but I guess pilots don't wish to get this book into their hands too often. It's better when it's
No.
sitting on a shelf and being a little bit dusty. Yeah. Okay, Monica, it's been great interview. Thank you for this conversation, and thank you so much for today. And I hope I'll welcome you again in the nearest future. Thank
Yeah,
you very much.
you're very welcome. I always enjoy talking to you, and I'm looking forward to the next time.
Me too. Okay, bye bye for now. Bye
Okay.
bye.
Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.